Hey guys, so I've never done this before. Walking down the streets of a foreign country with a camera, probably not the safest, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Anyway, I'm on my way to our second appointment. They never ended up giving me the blood results back for our blood test and our sperm analysis, so I'm hoping they do that today. And today we're also doing a hydro ultrasound, and they're gonna take like a legit look into my uterus with a camera. So that'll be interesting. It's not just an ultrasound, like they're putting a camera in there to take a look at like scar tissue, fibroids, cyst, all those different things. So we're doing that today, and I'm hoping today that we kind of get our protocol, like when all this is supposed to be happening, when everything is supposed to start, and our results for the blood test. So I don't know how long this appointment is going to last, and I'm going to try and film, but I'm not 100% sure if they'll even allow me to film. I don't know what's normal as far as that goes in Ecuadorian culture, if they allow you, so I'll do my best. So I went to my appointment earlier, and I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. It was very interesting. So I went in and had this water ultrasound, and basically what they did was they took me and my translator back to this like recovery room, and it was really funny because as soon as we walked in, we noticed that there was a lady laying there clearly recovering from her egg retrieval, just in a communal recovery room. So that was very interesting. So then we got in there and they told both of us, they were like, okay, take off your clothes, just get undressed in here. And we were like, no. So she ended up allowing the translator to go into the bathroom, and I changed in there with the sleeping lady. So it was crazy. But I went into their egg retrieval room. I got put up in stirrups, the whole shebang, and they stuck a literal camera in there, and it was very bizarre to see inside of my body. And so then when we were done, all this like fluid and some blood was coming out of me. It wasn't very painful, little pinches, but it was fine. So then we went and talked to the doctor, and he was like, everything looks good. Your uterus looks good. It looks ready for a baby. And then he handed me over a DVD, like an ultrasound DVD of my insides. So I now am the proud owner of a wonderful DVD of my vagina. So then he talked to me about our blood test and sperm analysis. We haven't had them done in 2 years, so I was interested to see what the results were. He ended up printing off some sheets so that we could see the results, and I was going to tell you guys. I'm holding the camera with one hand, so I'm going to try and do this with the other. Okay, so as far as like Jeremy goes, his sperm analysis, it was very good. He had a total of 537 million sperm. And I think they just want to see above 50 million, so he had 537 million. His volume was good. pH, I did notice his pH was at a 7.9, and I looked up what the normal ranges are, and it says 8 is normal. So I'm going to look into how to just regulate pH and things like that to make that better for the actual sperm donation for when we do IVF next month. It said that 90% were viable of his sperm, so I think that's good. It's all in Spanish, so I had to go and try and translate some of this. Immobile, about 30% of his were immobile, but I'm guessing 30% of 540 million is not a big deal. There was a bunch of other things I don't understand. And then it said 12% was normal. So that's interesting, only 12%. It has a bunch of other numbers I don't understand. It says mobile, like the amount that were mobile, like moving around, was 50%, so about 50% of those. The great thing is no matter what, even though he has a pretty good sperm count, we are doing ICSI anyway. So they're going to inject my eggs with his sperm, and that's not going to matter. But I did read that the low pH can cause sperm to have trouble penetrating eggs, which if you've watched our TTC history might kind of explain our first IVF where none of the eggs fertilized and there was issues with fertilization, even though I appear to be perfectly healthy and his sperm count is great. Maybe there's some issues there. So then I have my blood test results they tested my thyroid hormones just to check and see how they were, because with Abram's pregnancy, I had a really abnormal, even though I never breastfed, my prolactin was super high right before I started IVF, and so was my TSH and all of that. Like, my thyroid hormones were high. So I did end up taking thyroid medicine for his entire pregnancy. I did wean off of it without a doctor's notice, just did it on my own after I gave birth to him and a few months after breastfeeding. And I'm happy to say that my TSH, my T4, and my T3 are all completely normal, like in the 2s. And so everything's good to go. They just want to see it under a 4, and most people in the United States want to see it under a 2.5. So I'm under that. I'm good to go. I will, however, I'm just going to say this real quick. Once I do conceive, I am going to try and find an endocrinologist or have my OB go ahead and just keep an eye on my TSH and all of that. And if it's getting on the higher end, I will ask to be put on some kind of hormone supplement like thyroid medicine. My prolactin was only at a 4, which is really bizarre to me since I just quit breastfeeding, so it was really low. And it is interesting too for the fact that I'm still leaking milk. So anyway, my estradiol, they wanted to see it under a 56, and mine was at a 47. My FSH, they wanted to see it under an 11, and mine was at a 6. And my LH, they wanted to see under a 7.6, and mine was at a 7.9, but he said everything looked good. We went and talked to the receptionist and scheduled another ultrasound for the 8th, so next Tuesday. What they're going to do then is they're going to practice using different instruments to see which one is going to be best for our actual transfer. I don't know why they didn't do that today. They were already down there, but I don't know. So we're going to do another ultrasound next week, and then I also have to meet with a psychologist, which is really funny to me, but it's just something they do here. So I'm going to meet with a psychologist, and then what he said is when I start my next period, which should be around September 20th, I will come in on cycle day 1 or 2 for a ultrasound just to make sure everything's quiet, and I will start injections the next day on cycle day 3. So it's happening. This is for real. Yeah, I will keep you guys posted on our IVF journey. Thanks for following.